All of us have friends from different chapters of our lives. We've got childhood friends that we used to play with. We've got friends from high school, maybe college, friends from work, friends from the neighborhood. And some people really love to gather all of those friends together. They like to throw parties where they invite all the different people from the different parts of their life. And I am not one of those people. I don't really like it. It's stressful to me, making sure that everyone's getting along. And actually, perhaps you can imagine my situation. Do I really want my parishioners chatting with my childhood friends? Is there anything in that for me? Last summer, I had an experience of that. Most of you know Rick Lesser, now Father Rick Lesser. He, of course, was a longtime parishioner here with his wife and 3 children, but his wife died over a decade ago now. And he went through a transitional period and became a priest and is now the pastor of Corpus Christi Church in Round Lake. And he invited me 2 summers ago to go on vacation with a large group of people from his life to a place called Chautauqua, which is an educational institution where you go for a week and you go to lectures and take classes and go to concerts. It's just wonderful. But I didn't realize when I accepted the invitation that there would be so many people there from so many different parts of life. He invited some family, some of his veterinarian friends from his earlier work, but he also invited parishioners from here. He invited local clergy from other churches around the area. And here was the kicker. He invited faculty from the seminary where he and I studied to be priests to go on vacation with me. That was too far. I thought, this is going to be a nightmare. But do you know what? It was wonderful. It was a great opportunity for me to see those things can really work out. But I get that opportunity quite often as a priest because I preside at weddings. And one of the events in life that always involves bringing different people from different parts of your life together is when you have a wedding. And it is very clear in the wedding party itself. You've got all these people that the bride and the groom have chosen to be their attendants, but they don't necessarily know each other. They're plucked from all the different parts of life. You've got a sibling, you've got a childhood friend, you've got somebody from work, somebody you traveled with, somebody you went to college with. Well, and then there you are, putting all those people together. And they don't have anything in common except the bride or the groom. And sometimes there is not chemistry in that group. And I get to see it as the priest at the rehearsal or at the wedding. I say, oh, they're not exactly chugging along like a well-oiled machine right now. There's sometimes just not the chemistry you might expect. And that's what we're invited to think about today, is imagine a wedding party where the bride and the groom have chosen 10 attendants. They refer to them as the wise and the foolish virgins, but that can be distracting. Just focus on the fact that they're bridesmaids and groomsmen, and they were told, be prepared. Come with a lamp, and of course, the oil needed to light the lamp. And that is the symbol that they use for being prepared, having the oil. And what we hear is 5 of them have the oil and 5 of them run out. And we are being asked to imagine, what would it be like if the 5 that ran out of the oil came to the 5 that had it and said, oh my gosh, the bride and the groom are almost here. Can I have some of your oil? And they were told by the ones with the oil, no. Nope, you're going to have to go to CVS. And you better hurry, because the limo is pulling up right now. Can you imagine? Now, how would the bride and the groom feel about hearing that Trish, the bride's friend from work, told Sarah, her friend from growing up, to go to CVS right before she arrived to walk down the aisle? Would they be happy? Or how about this? Imagine, if you can, being a parent, for many of you that'll be easy, and that your child comes home from school, and you say, how was your day? And the child says, it was good. We took a test, and we needed to use a number 2 pencil, and I had 4 or 5 of them, but Timmy next to me, he forgot his, and he couldn't take the test. And I had extras, but, he was unprepared, and I didn't think it was right to share with him. So he just got a 0 and cried the whole rest of the day. What's for dinner? Would the parent be enthused about that? Would not a parent say, sweetie, could you have shared one of your pencils with Timmy? Now, I've got to tell you, I did not plan on the homily going in this direction today. I had another direction. Because the traditional interpretation of this scripture is that it's about the end times and that we need to be prepared. And that's a very important interpretation, and I love it, and I was all prepared to talk about it. But I was on retreat this past week at a monastery, and I was sitting in the cell working on the homily, and God said, nope, that's not what I want you to talk about this week. Every time I tried a new angle, it wouldn't work. God said, here's what I want them to know. If you are in the wedding, you have to share your oil. You're in the wedding. The bride and the groom are counting on you. You've got to share the oil. Are you really going to use the fact that some of the other groomsmen and bridesmaids were not prepared as an excuse to let the wedding fall apart? Are you really going to send them out so they're not there when the bride and groom are expecting them? You're really going to let that happen? When we are attendants at a wedding, the bride and the groom are counting on us to pull this wedding off for them, to figure out how to do whatever it takes so that it does not fail. It's an unrepeatable event. And that's what we're being asked to look at today. Last year, I presided at a wedding at St. Mary's in Coxsackie, and this is a true story. Right before the bride was set to walk down the aisle, she had a wardrobe malfunction. One of her essential undergarments broke. One of those undergarments that you need to have when you're a bride at your wedding. Exactly the one you're thinking of. And she said, and she turned to her maid of honor, and she said, my undergarment just broke. And she said to the maid of honor, I need yours. And guess what the maid of honor said? Well, there might have been an awkward moment, but she said, okay. And she did it, of course, because what's the job of a maid of honor? To let this wedding succeed, to do whatever it takes so that it goes off without a hitch. And that is something that we need to remember. This might be a good opportunity to learn a couple of new words that you might find helpful. One of these words you probably know. The other one you might not, but it's great for Catholics to have these words in their vocabulary. The first word is orthodoxy. You probably know that word. Say that after I say it. Orthodoxy. Orthodoxy means right belief, believing the right things. And it's important to be an Orthodox church. That's why we use readings out of the Bible and prayers out of the book. We don't make them up on our own. We want to be Orthodox. But the other word that many people don't know is from the same root, orthopraxy. Say that after me. Orthopraxy. Orthopraxy means right action, doing the right thing. So orthodoxy, you believe the right thing. Orthopraxy, you do the right thing. But see, there's a lot of people who follow the rules of religion really well, but they don't follow the Spirit. They follow all the rules, but they don't have the ideals. And so we can be the kind of people who do everything right, but then when someone else isn't doing everything right, rather than helping them, we send them away, forgetting that that's not what Jesus was about at all. It's been said that you can be as pure as an angel and still be proud as a devil. So this week, we are being asked to figure out how to live up to our role as the best man or the maid of honor at this wedding. How can we do what we need to do to make sure that this does not fall apart? Because they're counting on us. It doesn't matter that they should have been prepared. Yeah, that's true, but that's not the important thing here. It doesn't matter that I had to do this for them, and so now I'm the good one. Let God sort all of that out. Do we really expect that when we get to heaven, we're going to be able to impress God by saying, hey, God, I met a lot of people who were seeking you, but they were not prepared and they were not worthy, so I shut the door right in their face. Do we really think God is going to reward us for that? So, we have this great wedding that we've been invited to, and we have a role of honor and importance. We're the best man. We're the maid of honor. So let's pull this together, shall we? The groom is counting on us.